of handmade business can be tough when trying to monetize what you love. We've got truth bombs and motivation to help you find your way through. Passion to profit, let's start today, 'cause the world needs what you create. Tune in right now, it's your shot to learn how to be a handmade boss.
If your business has started declining and you find people are buying less these days, you're struggling to get the sales that you used to get, and you're not really sure what on earth is going on, then this might be the answer. Hey, I'm Steph, and I help handmade business owners start, run and scale their handmade business from expensive hobby to six figures and beyond on Etsy and your own website. And I help over 126,000 business owners every single week with my freebies and the advice and the weekly lives and all the good stuff that I do. If you go to handmadebosses.com/free resources, you will see all of the freebies and good stuff that I have. And if you go to handmadebosses.com/paid resources, you will see all of the other good stuff that we have that you can purchase from us. So without further ado, let's get into it. So you have probably heard me talking about how marketing has changed from 2020 and 2021. Okay. As we know, the big old pandemic happened in 2020, and the way people bought back then has significantly changed to how they buy now. Okay. When people are a little bit more stretched financially, people start to reduce what they spend. It sounds obvious, right? They say things like, I'll just do that myself, or I'll just make that myself, or I won't be able to afford that, so I won't even bother. And the amount of times when I've been on my Monday lives, and they are in the Facebook group, by the way, so if you want to join that, then you absolutely can. If you go to handmadebosses.com/free resources, you will find that. But I do often get the comment that, oh, I was at a craft market the other day and someone walked past my booth and was like, yeah, but for $15, I can make that myself. And I'm not going to spend this on that, and I'm not going to do that, or whatever. And a lot of the time, obviously, you know, you take great offense because you're stood there as the maker and you're like, what is going on? And honestly, it is something that people do say when people start to be slightly stretched and, you know, price suddenly becomes a big deal. It does get tricky. It does. It really does. But there is something to be said for not competing on price, right? Rather than competing on actually knowing and understanding your target audience more. And it's something that I say a lot. Okay. I find that the businesses that aren't impacted when there is like a recession or, you know, geopolitical issues or something just generally going on in the vibe, in the energy or whatever of that month, that quarter, that year, whatever you want to call it. I do find that it is those shops that will compete on price and nothing else that unfortunately do meet their end, or they have to stop trading because they can't afford to compete on price anymore. Or normally that's when I get a desperate DM that's like, help me, I'm not making sales. What am I doing wrong? The first thing that I normally always say once I've had a little looky and whatever is the HBSA is where you need to be. But also, why are you competing on price, right? What do you know about your target audience? And normally after a bit of a back and forth, it's where they really need to get clear as to what they're really selling. And it's really what I want to talk to you about more in depth today. What are you really selling? So let's just take a random example just to really kind of draw this point home. So I have a label printer and I have the Dymo 4XL, which is a beast. It really is. But it does print on the 6x4 postage labels and it's fine. It does the job. I upgraded to the Dymo 4XL when my orders started increasing. And before that, I had a 450, like the smaller one, but I upgraded to the bigger one. And some people, when I did upgrade, might have said, oh, you know what? Don't worry about that. You should just carry on using your printer, save your money. Or do you really need that? Is this a need or is this a want? You know, can you just not carry on with the old one? Or can you just not insert thing here? But I looked at it a little bit differently. I looked at what was I really getting from this label printer. No, it's not labels, by the way. What was I really getting when I was going to buy that label printer and when I did buy that label printer? The things that I were going to get was time back. That's what I was going to get. I was going to get ease and flow because my orders were just a lot easier to dispatch when the thing was just printed out for me. It increased my capacity for orders because all of a sudden I wasn't kind of dreading having like a 50 order day. I could just do my orders and be done with it. It was an investment in my business and it was a reliable tool that I'll use for years. Now, see how not any of those things was me buying a label printer. Yes, obviously I bought a label printer, but was I really buying a label printer or was I buying all of these things, right? Time back, ease and flow, increasing capacity for orders, investment, reliable tool that I'll use for years, okay? Another example, just to hammer this point home, is a good quality office chair. Right? If you've seen my lives, you'll know that I have a Secret Lab chair, which I paid about £500 for about 3-4 years ago now. And I didn't actually buy a nice office chair when I bought my office chair. I actually bought longevity for my posture and back. I actually bought a comfortable sitting style. I bought a chair that wouldn't break. I invested in my butt, which sounds bizarre. But can you see how just looking at, you know what, I'm not actually selling what I think I'm selling something completely different. Another example, again, because I feel like you guys really enjoy the examples. You don't go to the gym to get buff and get hench. You don't go to the gym to do any of those things. You sign up and you go because when you do, you leave feeling positive about your health. You get some me time that doesn't involve watching Netflix and copious amounts of chocolate buttons. And you get out of your comfort zone for a while and you push yourself, which feels good. You get the endorphins going. Are you actually buying, I'm going to walk out of there with a six-pack? You know, very few people actually go to the gym and walk out of there with a six-pack after 6 months or 12 months. You know, you have to be very committed to get that. But that's not the reason why people sign up. Okay, you don't hire a plumber that spends 20 minutes replacing a plumbing part and making your drippy tap stop. You hire that person for their years of expertise and know-how. Honestly, when you think of everything that you buy, you actually start to realize that when you're thinking about it in this way, you're starting to see that you're not buying the thing for the thing's purpose. You're buying the thing for the feelings that it lets you have, for the sense of accomplishment, for the sense of belonging, well-being. I mean, the list goes on really, but you're not actually buying the thing for the thing to do what it's meant to do. Okay. And this is where you've got to start to look at your own products in the same way. What are you really selling? So it might actually help you to look at your product and look at what they wouldn't get if they didn't buy your product and digging into what that really means for them. So if you're struggling to say, Steph, I sell jewelry, like how does this work for me? Think about, okay, if they didn't buy your crocheted earrings, what wouldn't they get? Okay, so what benefit would they not get if they didn't buy your earrings? And then flip it round. What's the big benefit of them buying? All right. And think about that in the context of it might be an upgrade for them. It might be a feeling. It might be expressing themselves. It might be being in the hands of an expert. It might be getting towards a goal. It could be any of those things. So let's just go through some more examples of handmade products, okay? You don't actually sell jewelry. You sell a way for people to hold something special. That could be a meaning, a word, an experience, or a bit of their self-identity. It's a way to hold all of those things close to them. You don't sell mugs. You sell a way for people to express themselves in something that they're going to use every day. You're almost selling a conversation starter. You don't just sell art, you sell a little piece of escapism in the person who is buying its day and a way for them to make their space feel more like their own. Now, can you see how this is where digging into your target audience and their pain point is a great idea? And if you want to learn more about target audience, if you listen to episode 22, there's another episode as well, but I can't remember what the number is. But hey, if you listen to the podcast on a regular basis, you will know what that is, okay? So I really would love for you guys to just dig into what is it that you are really selling. I'm going to just read through that list again. It might be an upgrade. It might be skin in the game. You know what I mean? It might be like, hey, if your goal is to lose weight and you buy a digital download fitness planner, it might be that, hey, you're not actually buying the planner. You're putting skin in the game. You're putting money behind where your mouth is, you know? It could be a feeling. It could be getting towards a goal. It could be expressing yourself. It could be being in capable expert hands. Like, what is it that you're actually selling? Okay. Let's bring back Sam and Lydia. Okay. So Sam sells jewellery. All right. Whenever she's asked about her target audience, she just says, oh, you know, it's women over 30 who like fashion. And that's her generic answer. She gets frustrated with this question. And whenever like I'm doing a live and she's saying, help me, I'm not making sales. And I'm like, okay, well, who's your target audience? And she says that. And I'm like, you need to go a little bit deeper there. She gets frustrated with me because she feels like there's nothing more to say. She doesn't know who that person is. So fast forward 12 months and she's still not making the sales that she would like. She's tried everything at this point. She's done more listings, better SEO, taking nicer pictures, and she's just tried everything, but she still just does not know how to get people to buy her stuff. At this point, she's tired, she's burnt out, and she's truly on the verge of giving up. Now there's Lydia. On the other hand, Lydia spends 2 weeks digging into her target audience because she finally understands and she gets it. All right. She's like, all right, I'm going to do it. She knows her entire business is based off of her target audience. So she spends a good 2 to 3 weeks digging into it. She talks to people, she visits places her target audience hangs out, and she understands them far, far deeper for doing all of that legwork. She also sells jewellery, but now she knows that people buy her jewellery because they are tired of living in a concrete jungle and they love nature. They want to take a little piece of nature along with them. So that's why people buy her botanical pieces, because she now realizes that she's not really selling a necklace. She is selling a way for someone to keep a little bit of nature that reminds them of home close with them at all times. Or it's a way for people who have that boho free spirit attitude, who maybe has to wear a suit, you know, for work every single day. It's a way for them to express themselves. Okay. Not only now does Lydia understand her target audience better, but it just makes her so much better at creating new products and marketing those products in a way that actually not makes people buy, but actually attracts the right people to her. So, are you a Sam or are you a Lydia at this point? Questions. All right. So your homework for this week is, I want you to dig into your target audience and what are they really buying when they're buying from you? What's the big benefit? Is it an upgrade? Is it skin in the game? Is it a feeling? Is it getting towards a goal? Is it expressing themselves? Is it being in an expert's hands? It might actually help you to think about what's the consequence of them not buying that product from you? What are their pain points? What are you solving? And what are they not getting in their lives right now related to your product? So guys, I really hope that you have enjoyed that episode, a little short, sharp, snappy one, talking all about how to market your products in a slightly different way. If you would do me a solid and leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, that would be amazing. It just helps the podcast to be seen by more people. And don't forget, handmadebosses.com, and there's a nice little menu there for the freebies, for the paid stuff, for the results we get. Have a little look at those pages, see if there's anything that could help you, that could take your fancy. And yeah, I will catch you same time next week for the next installment of How to Be a Handmade Boss, the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into How to Be a Handmade Boss. And if you're eager to boost your Etsy sales within just 7 days, then be sure to join my most popular free training at handmadebosses.com/conversion. You can also find the link in the show notes as well. Keep an eye out for our next episode where we'll be continuing our journey towards handmade business success together. And until then, keep crafting and stay inspired, because the world really does need those special creations that only you can make.